Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota. It's the top 91 Vikings ranked.
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings. You have to know about a poker scandal rocking the World Series of Poker. The perpetrators named Jesse and James.
What's going on, Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman? I'm being bullied into opening our lads today. Send help or this will not end well.
Hey, this is Arif Hasan with WideLeft.Football. For once, I'm not the bully.
Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next level Vikings football. So join in with Arif Hasan, Locked On Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talks Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
What's happening? Welcome in on a Thursday. Minnesota Football Party is back. It's live. It's on the Locked On Vikings YouTube channel, the Locked On Sports Minnesota YouTube channel. We do this every Monday, every Thursday with this group. We're so glad you're here. Find our audio on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed, wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks so much for making us your first watch or listen today. And check out Locked On Vikings for your second one, by the way, with Luke Braun. Before the show's over, a Christian Darrisaw update, question mark, on his status for week one. If he can't go, how do the Vikings bridge that gap? Ron Johnson makes his Thursday appearance. But the bulk of today's show, the NFL uses July to do its top 100 players series. We will use it to do our top 100, 91 Minnesota Vikings, every member of the roster ranked for the next 5 shows. Today we do the first 20, then we'll go 20, 20, 20, and the final edition will be the top 10, which should lead us just about to the edge of training camp. So this is how we will survive the dog days of the NFL offseason. You met the Lukes, you met Arif. I'm Sam Ekstrom. We're so glad you're here. What was your guys' process for putting this together? Because there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. We lost someone already. Oh no. Luke Braun's gone.
Fantastic.
Inman, what was your process for paring this list down?
Yeah, I mean, I started at 1 and started to work my way down. And I think I joked with you before we even hit record. Like, I've already changed my top 20 a couple times. So I know by the time we get to those top 10, top 20 guys, I'm sure I'll shuffle this around. But you get into the weeds, into those 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, pretty much the last 10 guys, Sam, I'm not going to lie to you. I just put them all in a hat. Right. Okay. I just started pulling one by one. No, you do a little bit of digging. I mean, there's some UDFAs that, you know, I kind of lean towards after I saw the list, a little bit of research, watched a little bit of film on some of those guys. Tyler Batty, for example, Logan Brown, guard from Kentucky. But yeah, those last 10 guys are very tricky. But I'll be honest. I mean, you could even argue the first 10 guys are honest too. So up and down the entire list, it is tricky. And it feels like it kind of depends on the day and the mood sometimes, because some of these guys are so close, you're kind of splitting hairs.
I started with Mr. Irrelevant and then worked my way up from 91. So I started at the bottom. I haven't finished my list yet. I kind of categorized about my bottom 30 to 35 dudes and then pared it down from there. Next episode, I'll probably do the same thing. Braun, Arif, how did you go about this?
I mean, I just got because I don't prepare for stuff, right? So this morning, I
can't wait to see you on your wedding day, dude.
Yeah. 10 minutes ago, I grabbed the list from the Vikings website, and because I only need to rank up to 71 today, I just got rid of the top 50. Don't have to worry about starters. Don't have to worry about rotational players. Don't have to worry about guys that I think might be on the bubble. So it's just a bunch of guys I've never heard of in my life. And then I just ran them against the consensus big board, got rid of anybody in the top 200. And then there's a bunch of people left. So I just looked up their college PFF grades. And then if I've heard of you, you get a little bit of a boost. If you were bad in college, you're at the bottom. What are you doing here? And if you're really good in college, I actually don't know what to do. If you're like, if you're really low in the consensus big board and you were really good in college, I'm just like, hey man, great stuff at Morgan State, allegedly.
Yeah,
That's
Trey
good.
Stewart, right? Trey Stewart, running back, 26 touchdowns in Conference USA.
I love the
But
Morgan State guy.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, the Morgan State guy, the colors are blue, so this is great stuff, I think.
Is that Elijah Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Morgan State guy. Braun, anything to add on your process, how you went about this?
I've done a handful of these for the Everyman series already, and I've done a little bit of research on some of these guys, which is where I'm drawing most of the knowledge. But mostly, it's wait for the show to start and wing it.
It's great.
Beautiful.
Because
Now-
we'll just name our guy. We're like, this guy's 91st. He sucks. And you're like, well, actually, he raises orphans. So
Yeah, there's a couple of those. Listen to the Travis Bell episode of Locked On Vikings. I think he's gonna probably come up here pretty soon.
pretty soon.
Had
But-
I done this exercise
Good
2
story.
years ago, Mr. Irrelevant for me would have been Najee Thompson. It would have been 91 or 90. So that's what we're kind of risking by labeling the 90.
Please stay tuned in. Like, I know we just ruined the value proposition of what we're doing by what Sam just said. Please keep listening.
Egg could be on our face at the end of this if these people end up making an impact.
That's the draw here. Yeah.
I'm going to track this on Google Sheets so that we can, actually follow who's who, where we put where, from week to week. Yeah, well, you got to be organized to host this show with you buffoons. Here we go. How's that looking? Can you see it?
Yeah.
You zoom? Let's give it a zoom.
No, the Zoom I think is worse. What it was before was better.
Okay. Right there. There we go. Vikings top 91. Let's go with the man who's ranked all 91. Mr. Irrelevant, Luke Inman.
Again, I joked before we hit record, I am not going to open Ourlad, so I'm using ESPN depth chart. I got 89 guys, so I can't wait to find out. I can't wait to find out who the two guys are that I'm missing. But Oscar Chapman kicks things off for me.
The Aussie punter. And let's say like where these guys play, because a lot of people might not know. I had to remind myself kind of positions when I was doing the rankings. But yeah, the backup punter, never very high on the list, coming out of that Australian punt factory. Luke, let's just go clockwise. Arif Hasan.
My 91, I went with Miles Price because I didn't have time to look him up. He wasn't on the consensus board, a receiver from Indiana. I don't know anything about him. So I went with that. I figure Oscar Chapman's actually kind of decent. I know he's a free roster spot, so you don't have to, actually justify him being there. But I don't know. It's just the mystique of the Aussie punter takes him outside of 91 for me.
That actually brings up a good question I had, because is it how you value these guys? Maybe everybody did a little bit different. If you were building a team,
I think everybody definitely did this differently.
Or is it like, okay, this is how important CJ Ham is to the Vikings offense, right?
Yeah, Sam gave us
You know
no
what I'm saying?
instruction, so it's up to us to interpret what the ranking
Right, but I'm just
criteria
curious
is.
how
No,
you
yeah.
guys maybe
So
did it.
for me, it's I think the driving factor here is how likely they are to make the roster. But and obviously when we get in the top 20 episodes down from now, all of them are making the roster if we're halfway decent at our jobs, which we might not
and
be.
it becomes a different kind of discussion.
Yeah, and then
But at
from
this
there,
point, it's
like,
who's likely to impact the Vikings in any way.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Luke Braun, 91.
I went with both of the people that Luke and Arif mentioned are coming up soon for me, but I'm starting with Jonathan Harris out of Lindenwood. Jonathan Harris
Fifth-year player.
has been in the league. So for me, the guys that are least likely to make the team are usually these dudes that have like bounced around from team to team, from practice squad to practice squad, that have been around a little bit. Teams are just going to be a little bit more they're just going to give a little bit more leash to a younger player that they just scouted, that they just got excited about signing, a couple of months ago as an undrafted free agent, versus someone that they brought in kind of randomly as, we'll see if you make the team, or futures deal type guys. I think an undrafted rookie has a better chance than a futures deal type guy. It's just, I don't know. The future
That's
is
interesting.
now.
I don't know if I agree with that assessment, just because I think if they've made the roster 4 times in the exact environment you're describing,
We have not made the roster, my friend.
Well, not this roster, but like a roster.
Well, a practice
squad. This is
Yeah.
5th year for Jonathan
Yeah.
Harris, correct?
So,
The practice squad is like
squad-
the 70th guy on the roster. We're talking about number 91. This guy's consistently been the 76th guy on the roster.
He's
I'm
been
thinking
through
more
3
like a
teams in the
refund.
last 365 days.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's long for this world.
Dude who's played snaps in the NFL, maybe a rotational piece. You lost Ward. You've got a rookie who's, Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins. Maybe you need a little more seasoning. I don't have him at 91. I actually don't have him in my bottom 20. So already a big discrepancy.
Already.
My number 91.
Well, maybe I'll change this when I finish this exercise.
My number 91 is, drumroll, wide receiver Robert Lewis out of Auburn. He did nothing
on this
at
roster.
Auburn. He had a career at Georgia State before that where he was okay. He did nothing at Auburn in the SEC. Terrible testing. And I'm not sure he's a special teamer. So Robert Lewis is my number 91 Viking. Back to Luke Inman.
Yeah, I actually have Robert Lewis sitting here at 88. Again, take that with a grain of salt, missing 2 guys, but Robert Lewis, second to last on my list, I should say. Did a little bit of digging on the group of wide receivers. I'm with you. I echo all your thoughts. Just nothing. Where's the one trait that just kind of sticks out that you do this really well? So Robert Lewis, 88 on my list.
All right. Braun. No, Arif. Sorry.
So my number 90 was Max Tooley, linebacker out of BYU. I figure, despite the mullet, which is gorgeous, he wasn't ever good at linebacker, and also he's extremely old for a rookie. And BYU plays a slate of teams where being good at linebacker is actually not a significant challenge. So, I'm not really sure what he's doing in an NFL uniform, but I'm happy he gets a paycheck. Everyone deserves a shot, I guess.
Yeah, he's super old. He's super small. He can't seem to tackle. It's questionable what is it you do here. Luke Braun.
I have Oscar Chapman next. A lot of the same reasons that Luke mentioned. I'm not sure that's a real
person.
Punter competition, and I also am not sure he would be on the roster if he weren't an exception. I'm not sure they would have bothered to make the space for him.
So I don't know if this makes the dude more cool or less cool, but he from the team's official release with the UDFAs after the draft, his name was Alexander Williams, but on the team's official roster they have added a name. He is now Alexander Mush Williams. Alexander Mush Williams. Musch. He is a defensive lineman that barely played at Middle Tennessee. But the mush does add an intangible.
I agree with you, actually. I think that's a good take.
That might be one of my 2. That might be one of my 2 guys I'm missing.
Alexander Mush?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I should
write the whole
slide him in here.
Luke, do you have a Bubba Bolden on your roster? Maybe it's old.
I don't.
Bubba.
Okay, so it's not that old.
I got a Silas Bolden.
Different guy.
Yeah.
Different guy. He'll get cut later.
Apparently.
Yeah, he'll get cut later. Don't worry about him.
All right, so we found one of the 2 that Inman's missing. Who's your number? In your case, 87. In our case, 89.
Yeah, I had Giovanni Ricci, tight end.
Oh, wow.
Italian Stallion.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's such a great way to handle that.
I figured we were going to have this argument eventually, Sam.
Oh, I'm saving him for 69.
Nice.
Oh, fair.
Nice.
Arif.
Let's see. What did I put down? Oh, Leroy Watson, the 4th tight end convert to tackle. It looks like. I don't know. No, nope, not for me.
Started 4 games at Tennessee last year, was atrocious. That's what I've got on him. Luke Braun.
I also have Leroy Watson next.
Okay, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. What are the odds? I believe he joined a little later, right? He wasn't like a draft day 3 undrafted free agent signing. I think he showed up after Bubba Bolden, who would have been a clear 91 for me. What an insane thing that he is still getting chances in the NFL after like 4 years of never making a team. And like also like struggling to be on practice squads, I think they brought him in to replace Bubba Bolden, if I recall. Those guys are never.
Yeah.
That's filler if I've ever seen it.
We already addressed Max Tooley. That's my number 89, linebacker, BYU. Old, small, can't tackle. Next, take Inman. After he just insulted the legacy of the Italian stallion.
Oh,
and his
he might have
family.
tried our lads, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, he's toast. All right, Arif.
I think I could have probably picked. No, here. Yeah, this is where I wanted to put the Auburn receiver we were talking about, Robert Lewis. Yeah, 88.
I'm just catching up on the comments.
Damn it, Arif.
Should we consider? Did we tie again?
Genuinely, who is Oscar Chapman? Robert Lewis for
too.
Arif. All right,
and I me too.
Earth to Inman. He's gone.
All
right, we'll try again later.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna go with tight end number 88, tight end Bryson Nesbitt out of North Carolina. Like if you're just a slow contested catch guy in college, I don't love your prospects in the NFL. Closed circuit Laquan Treadwell, not closed circuit. What am I trying to say? CC Laquan Treadwell.
Closed circuit.
Closed circuit. What does CC stand? Is that what CC stands for? What is that?
It's for carbon copy.
No. What am I trying to say though?
Okay.
I can't think
like
of words.
Poor man's Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison.
Or whatever you were saying.
Laquan Treadwell. Very different.
No, I mean, you copy something enough times, a short thing turns into a long thing. It's fine.
Still no Inman, so we'll go back to Arif for number 87.
Great. I didn't do a great job after we got to 88. From there, it is way more vibes. Not that this wasn't already extremely vibes based. So I think I went with Marcellus Johnson.
Tackle.
Yeah. I figure if he's played a bunch of tackle in PFF, lists him as guard. That's not good. So that was kind of my thinking there.
All right. Luke Braun.
Is that a new addition? I've never heard of that man in my life. And I have a whole series of the summer covering every player.
Marcellus was on our practice squad last year. That's how much of a guy he is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just missed him. It's Giovanni Ricci next for me. He also kind of falls in the category of like, he wasn't initially on the 90. If you weren't part of the initial like vision of the team and you're only joining because there was an injury or some other transaction, and you're like, if you're in that category, you're the longest of long shots. In fact, I might even have him too high.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm going to go with Dante Fleming, undersized receiver out of Tulane. I think
those guys.
I think that Silas Bolden kind of has the edge on the undersized receiver market for the practice squad spot there. So I'm gonna send Fleming to number 87 because we're holding out for Bolden. Someone said earlier, like if Bolden is higher than 84, we riot. No sign of him yet. Still no sign of Inman.
Being part of the punt return competition is going to get you somewhere that a lot of these guys aren't going. So,
yeah. Arif, 86.
This is where I finally get to play as Oscar Chapman.
So I've got Oscar Chapman higher than all you guys. Chapman
Correct.
at 86.
Yeah.
Luke Braun.
Next up, I have Max Tooley. All the same reasons everybody said.
Yeah. Number 86. Another undersized linebacker, Dorian Mossy. Not to be confused with Michael Motti. Dorian Mossy.
I have him
Teammates.
ranked way higher just because his PFF grades are really good. I haven't watched him play, but his PFF grades are really good. So good for you, guy.
He's really old. Now was he a transfer? Because when he went to Auburn, I don't think he was very good at Auburn.
No, he was good at Auburn. He was bad at Duke.
Oh, okay. So he did stay he was a D1 Power 5 all the way through. Yeah, Mossy. I like his teammate more. We'll get to him a little later. But Dorian Mossy, number 86.
That's fair. Am I at 86 now? Where am I?
You're 85.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I picked Giovanni Ricci.
Fools. Luke Braun.
You fools.
What was the last one I said? Max Tooley?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm going to be controversial here. The next one to me is Max Brosmer. I don't buy it. I think that we are being lied to about his chances to make the team. I think he is Peter Pujal's sized chance to make the team. Okay, this is a Joel Stavi. This is going to play this guy. This is Mitch Leidner. He's going to play maybe the fourth quarter of the last game, but otherwise he's handing off. And the key, the kicker is when Kevin O'Connell was asked about him and did his whole big rant that everyone went crazy about. He was like, yeah, well, he hasn't gotten a lot of chances. Like, yeah, all right, he's not doing the drills. Good job on the whiteboard. You're not doing the drills. You ain't making the team, and nobody would give him a second thought if he wasn't a gopher. Sorry, this is all. This is Minnesota homerism.
Ron Johnson any second, and Ron, I expect you to own up to this.
Hey, it's not about his skill level. Maybe he'll make another team, but he ain't making this one. He doesn't get the chance. QB4 never gets the chance.
There's nothing else to ask, so you have to ask.
Oh, I'll definitely ask that.
Max Brosmer take. Okay.
Right, look, we can always get wrong going on something.
Yeah.
True. If you're worried about filling time, that's probably not my concern there.
So we're at number 85. Luke Inman is still lost in our lads' ether. Tyler Batty, defensive lineman. I don't really have a great reason. He's kind of a tweener. I don't know where he fits. Tweener.
Bad take.
Bad take.
Bad take. Wow.
Grow a pair of eyes, Sam.
Tweener. That's literally all I have to say.
You gotta watch that BYU defense closer.
He was. I
saw Max Tooley.
He was 239 at the consensus big board. He is one of the reasons the Vikings were considered to have a gem of an undrafted free agency class. I don't even think he's in my bottom 20. So I think I've got him in the 60s somewhere.
So what is a good UDFA typically ranked on the consensus big board? Is 239 really good? If it's inside of 250, is it good?
It's outstanding. Yeah. I mean,
what's the last pick of the draft?
257.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of comp picks.
Sam, how do you not know how many picks there are in the draft?
Because doesn't it change year to year?
Well, yeah, but it's always 250 something, right? It's 251, 252, 253, 254. Yeah. It's always in that range. Every year.
Oddly, I know it's one weird thing I do. I don't have a consensus big board. I don't.
Sam, this has nothing to do with the consensus board. It has to do with the number of picks in the draft.
Yeah, you're mistaking something trivial for something critical. That is not.
No, this is your job. You should know how many picks there are in the draft.
Debatable about the job part. Who's your number 84? Who's your Randy Moss 84?
I think I picked. You know what? I'm going to change it because of everything we've said. Alexander Mush Williams. He's 84 now.
Mush. We got to get the background on the Mush. Or is it Moosh?
It could be Moosh. I think that would help even more, honestly. I like the name Mush, but Moosh is pretty good.
Braun.
Next up for me is going to be Miles Price. You get a little bit of grace for being a part of the punt return competition, but let's be honest.
Let's be real here.
Number 84, Leroy Watson IV. Really bad at Tennessee last year. Played real games. Stunk. Bounced around. Couldn't land at Cleveland. Didn't do well at Tennessee. Don't love his chances. Although, later in the show, we'll talk about the tackle situation with Christian Darrisaw maybe not starting the year. Is Inman still restarting?
Yeah, I mean, you have access to the back end, so if he hasn't logged into the back end, I guess.
Yeah.
Slaw thinks it's moosh.
He's got to listen to the whole dial-up thing, so takes a minute.
And then AOL tells him he's got mail, so he's got to click over.
And then he's distracted, and we lost him.
It's rough.
He's cross-referencing all 89 of his list with the 91 on the roster. He's trying to figure that out. Arif Hasan, 83.
I'm taking Brosmer. We gotta not coddle these quarterback fours in lists like these. It's making them soft.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if he played for Illinois, he'd be 88 on all of our lists. He'd be like, oh, yeah, that guy's not making the team.
I like how you've admitted that you also have ranked him too high.
Yeah, actually, yes, true. I'm giving the Star Tribune a little bit of faith because they seem to think it's a more even QB competition. That's so I've moved him up a couple. Next up for me might be controversial. It's Travis Bell. He was a draft pick. He's been through 4 different rosters, including 2 stints with the Bears. In 2 years, he was drafted as a 7th round pick in 2023 and has very much been incapable of making a team.
Yeah, I don't know what his role is, so that's fair.
Yeah, he's a D-line out of Kennesaw State.
No, I know he's a D lineman. I don't know because it feels like he has the athleticism of a nose and the production profile of a 3. So that's where I'm at with him.
Yeah. Great Everyman Series story, though. Go check that out.
7th round
he
Bears,
was
23.
Yeah, he was like, everybody in his high school was like, oh, yeah, that's the best player on our team, but no colleges wanted him because he was too small. And that lands you in a place like Kennesaw State trying to build a fledgling program.
Go Owls.
Yep. I believe
DT
famously threw up in the tunnel before his first college football game and then got a sack on his first play.
That's good. I like that. That's relatable. I also threw up in the tunnel for actually no reason. I wasn't playing.
Is that real? You threw up in the tunnel? Oh.
Before his first debate.
Minnesota football party.
I did not throw up before my first debate, Sam. Come on.
Well, I'm gonna allow us a mulligan a day because I didn't have Travis Bell in sort of my process today. I overlooked Travis Bell. I would like to replace Tyler Batty with Travis Bell.
All right.
If that's all right with you. I mean that's me listening and saying, Arif, you're right. You're smart. You've got the consensus board. I don't. I'm going to listen to your advice. Number 83.
Travis Bell. No.
How many of these guys did you learn today were on the Vikings? This is one of them for me. Khalef Hailasi.
Special teams guy? Come on.
3rd year cast-off UDFA from Cleveland. Here's why I dock him. Because he's not – Tavier Thomas is that guy. Like, Tavier Thomas is a much better, I think, all-around player, defense and special teams.
Like a Perry Nickerson vibe there. Maybe he'll be on and off.
Backup Tavier Thomas. I don't think he's going to usurp him, so I think that Hailasi is my number 83. Cornerback.
There's someone in history, maybe Ethiopian history, with a very similar last name, so I've moved him up on my board because of that.
I like the rationale.
Yeah. So what are we on? 82. I picked Vershawn Lee, South Carolina. He was a center and he was never like good. So I don't know what is the whole plan with him, but that's at least he's SEC. Maybe that's why I got him all the way up to 82. But he's
like
in the
Marshawn Lee.
Oscar Chapman area for me.
I like him. All right. Here's the plan, by the way. We're going to get through 81, then chat with Ron, then we'll do the 70s. Inman's back.
Inman.
You missed 88 through 82. Can you rattle them off?
Rattle
for us?
them
Let's
off.
go. Yeah.
Give me some time.
Mic check. You ready?
Here we go.
Giovanni Ricci, you got him. All right. Max Tooley, linebacker.
Hey.
Leroy Watson, offensive tackle. Travis Bell, nose tackle. Drafted in 2023, 7th round, I want to say, by Chicago. Keenan Garber, cornerback. Miles Price, wide receiver, Indiana. And where are we at? One, two,
do one more.
three.
Yeah, do one more. This was good.
Khalif
Oh!
Halassi, quarterback.
Yeah.
Started with Oregon, transferred to I want to say Western Kentucky, something like that. Signed with the Chiefs, got cut. Probably not very good. There you go.
Give us one more. Get us to 82.
Xavier Scott, running back, undrafted with the Colts in 2023. What are we doing?
Army brat.
dunked on
Xavier
him.
Scott.
Okay.
Okay, so I like Lee, by the way, Arif. I like Vershawn Lee. We'll get to him a bit later. Braun, 82.
I have Bryson Nesbitt here.
Ooh.
I don't buy it.
You don't like Nepo babies?
not from where that guy played. we know what team his dad played for. Okay, I'm not a fan, but no, it's more about that I don't like move tight end fives.
Okay.
82 safety. I don't know if it's Michael, like Michel or Michael Powell.
Mish. He goes by Mish.
Mish
Powell.
Like Alexander Mish Williams, him?
Yeah, Mish.
Yeah,
Like Macho
same.
Mish.
That's the same vowel. Yeah.
Macho Mish.
Oh my God. He's been among us this whole time.
Last one, then we get to Ron. Arif.
Travis Bell.
Travis Bell. Inman.
I got Vershawn Lee, offensive guard, South Carolina State.
Oh, the slander. The slander of Vershawn Lee.
Slander.
Luke Braun.
I have Khalif Halassi here, but I kind of want to move him way further up my list because I'm going to be honest, I just forgot about him. And when I did Jonathan Heron first, I only had 3 people on my list. So I kind of want to just replace that.
You get the mulligan every...
You get a mulligan.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me just take Khalif Halassi and Jonathan Harrison, just swap them.
Wow.
So Halassi is now your Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Incredible work.
You made a great case, Sam. And I definitely care enough about it to think really hard and do that delicate
I figured
move
out
of
who I was
just
thinking of. It was
slamming a guy last place.
Emperor of Ethiopia, Haile Selassie. That's who I was thinking of. So that's close.
Almost identical, just like Mish and Mush. Tim Jones, number 81 for me. You're just not going to give a 27-year-old
Really?
wide receiver a spot
Jones
unless
is
he's
nice,
the best.
Yeah,
Unless
Tim
he's
Jones,
the best special teamer on the team. If
Tim
he is,
Jones
then,
has consistently made rosters.
well, I might have egg in my face then.
Great.
That's all right.
Like he's on the bubble. He was like a little bit of a Marcus Sherrills for Jacksonville. And
Yeah, I
his
was about to
contract
say,
just
like,
expired.
when you sign a guy that's been on rosters that you've never heard of, and then a bunch of people from another fan base are like, we lost him. That's interesting. I think that like,
Yeah,
that
I've been
takes you
penciling
out
him
of-
into my 53. Yeah. That's crazy to have him down here.
I don't know. You guys were kind of knocking the journeyman, like, fringe roster guys a minute ago. So this seems
Well,
inconsistent.
there's a difference
Well,
between you guys that
Braun
make
is talking
teams and
about
don't.
practice squads. Yeah.
Well, we'll debate about this with Ron Johnson on the other side of the Minnesota football party. Be right back. FanDuel brings us today's show. Summer sports in full swing. All-Star break approaching for MLB, WNBA in mid-season form, Wimbledon right now, ton of upsets. I mean, I can't imagine some of the money lines on the first round Wimbledon upsets with Goff, Pegula going down, Tiafoe lost in the second round. Yeah, I'm following it, and I'm checking out the FanDuel lines as well. You can make every moment more at Wimbledon. or the golf tournaments every weekend. 3M Open coming up. Check it out. Track your favorite matchups. Check the new daily promotions on the app. Lots of fun ways to bet. Put together a same-game parlay. FanDuel makes it fun. If you're new to FanDuel, you can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Again, bet 5, get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Here he is, Ron Johnson of The Ron Johnson Show. Joining us now, he's at 3 Ron Johnson. Ron, welcome in. We have been ranking Vikings for today's show, and we'll do it for a lot of the next 5 shows. Luke Braun, you want to get it out of the way early? You just want to stir the pot? Ask Ron what you have to ask him?
Yeah. Well, so I'm curious what you think of Max Brosmer's current situation. He's buried as the 4th QB on the depth chart. He's often, in the run drills, handing off instead of throwing during indos. What does it take for
Ron
someone to
91st? What's your take, Ron?
I did not rank him 91st. I ranked him
I don't
like
have the
87th
rankings in
or
front of
something.
me. That just felt true, so that's what I said.
I ranked him, like 80 somethingth in terms of his chance to like make the team, because QB4 has such a tough road. So let me ask you this: what does Max Brosmer have to do to claw his way out of that handoff duty job and like get it assigned to Brett Rippon?
So what has Brett Rippon done? Like, I don't think he's done anything to say he's QB3. So that's just my opinion. I think Sam Howell is legit. He's practicing, but he's legit your backup quarterback. I'd say your starter's JJ. When it comes to QB3, if you look at the history of Vikings, they've never carried a third as like, we really need a third quarterback. They've carried it as either an emergency guy or a practice squad guy. I think Max Brosmer fits financially for them to not worry about a guy like Brett Rippon that they can't just put on the practice squad and feel like this is okay. Like, Max Brosmer can sit on the practice squad, and if anything happens, they can move him up as an emergency quarterback. But I mean, I even if he is 4 and he's on the thing, like he's on the practice squad, I don't see Brett Rippon seeing the field, like unless like JJ McCarthy and
these guys are seeing the field.
Howell,
we're in the 80s on the roster here.
And Sam Howell are in a car accident together. So I'm like, I just don't see it happening. So if I'm and I talked to Keenan McCardell about Max Brosmer specifically, because I always love to get coaches' thoughts on the guys I know. I had him, I asked some guys about Kobe King. When I saw Brian Flores walk by, I was like, hey, what do you think about Kobe King? And so what Keenan McCardell said, man, is Max can spin the ball. He has to learn about when to throw hard and when not to throw hard, because it is a little bit like exciting when you're a guy walking to the build. You see Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, you see Hawkinson, you see Darrisaw. You're like, man, I'm in the NFL. But then it's like, okay, you got to calm down and play football. And so I hope, and we just had Max on. That interview will air on Tuesday on the Ron Johnson Show. We sat down with Max Brosmer. He talked about JJ McCarthy and what he saw from him in practice. He talked about Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown in practice. And what I hear from him too is he's learning. He's learning how quick the game is. And so I think and he's really smart, like coming from New Hampshire, PJ Fleck, the first thing you talk about, man, the kid is cerebral. Like, he knows the game. So I think it's him and Rippon are going to battle for that QB3 spot. And then from there, it comes down to, who can put the ball in the right places at the right times. So I think Max doesn't have to do a ton. He just can't throw a ton of interceptions. Like, I think he has the edge because he's cheaper. I mean, to be honest, like if they're even and he's cheaper, you keep the cheaper guy.
So here's a follow-up. I have a follow-up to that. How do you prove yourself if you are not throwing in the throwing drills?
He's going to throw all week in practice. Or so like when you think about mini camp and OTAs, like right now,
I'm talking about training camp practices. Like you're in the indos, you're not throwing.
No, there's no training camp yet. We're talking about mini camp. You talking about practice?
You're talking about practice.
I'm talking about real practice. I'm talking about when the pads are on and the New England Patriots walk into the building. You're not going to see like a ton. In preseason, you're not going to see a ton of JJ McCarthy. You're not going to see even a ton of Sam Howell. It's going to be Brett Rippon versus Max Brosmer. And that's where it's going to happen. Like right now, he's handoffs and all this other. He's going to throw the ball. Like, you don't have a 4th quarterback and they're not throwing the ball. They're throwing the ball in Indy. Because again, I talked to Keenan McCardell about this. He's with the receivers when the media can't talk about it. Max Brosmer can throw the ball. Like, the 4th quarterback is going to get just as amount of reps as the 3rd quarterback.
So he is throwing during those.
Yes. Yeah, whoever wrote that story or thinks they know what they saw, they don't know it. I talked to the receivers coach who saw him throw in practice. So he's throwing the ball. The whole he's just handing it off. That's just media speak.
I'm going off Kevin O'Connell saying that.
No, I know. I'm just saying I'm going off media speak to try to say, hey, look, this is what we have to say and do. This is the tone we're going to. There's no way Kevin O'Connell, going through what he went through in his career, would actually allow a quarterback to go an entire camp and not give him a chance and then cut him.
That's actually a pretty good point.
It's not going to happen. Like Kevin O'Connell, that's the one thing I talked about Josh McCown about. Josh McCown knows Kevin O'Connell wants to give guys chances. And so there's no way they're going to treat him like that. There's no way. It's not happening. I sat next to Josh McCown, PJ Fleck during the warm-up warm-up and practices. And the one thing Josh McCown said right away, and PJ told him, hey, if you get a chance, trust me, this guy can get it done for you. And again, that's just the back and forth conversations. I can't say everything I heard because some of the stuff is not to be put out there, but trust me, there's a lot of other stuff within the two organizations that you help me, I'll help you, that help Max Brosmer get to the Vikings. When we're talking about preseason game 3 for sure, Max is going to have a chance to put a lot of film out there. Now, how much time? It's coming down to the practices though. And again, in that game number 4, I go with guys like Bart Scott, Will Demps. These are old Ravens guys. But Bart Scott did not play a ton in front of Ray Lewis and Ed Hartwell and Pete Boulware and Mike McCrary. We had some beasts at linebacker. Bart Scott got his stuff on special teams, and then that 4th preseason game he got to play 2 quarters, and they're like, oh shoot, this kid can play. And then now we know the Bart Scott story, but he was undrafted as well, and nobody thought he'd make that roster with those they were deep at linebacker. But he found a way on the field. So I think Max Brosmer is he's gonna throw. They're not gonna burn JJ McCarthy's arm out. When it comes down to 101s and all the other stuff, he's gonna throw. And 707. They're gonna have to go 2s, they're gonna go 3s, and then they're gonna put in the guys for the rest of their stuff. Again, trust me, if Brett Rippon has one slip and fall, and again, it is Brett Rippon's job to lose. You're not wrong there. But if he has one slip up where it's just a inkling of damn, why are we keeping this guy? You're going to see a lot more Max Brosmer. But Max Brosmer can't do it. And to your answer, there's nothing Max Brosmer can do to really put himself on the field, to be honest. He can't, because most of the coaches there, they have I can't show you mine, but they have a board, right? And so, because we get a screenshot of the board when we're getting ready to do our shows, and they have a board of hey, here's our depth chart, and this is what we want. And I've learned as a coach what it really means. And so what I look for is the marks, and I won't even explain it, but the coaches have marks for guys. Even though he might be wide receiver 3, there might be a star, which means something. It's not going to be on the board, but Keenan McCardell has that in the head, meaning if we go 4 wides is the guy. But that's what I'm saying. Max Brosmer will get his chance, but it's Rippon's job to lose. But Max is going to get his chance. I don't think Kevin O'Connell would do. If he does that to him, Hard Knocks, here we come. Because I he's talked about
it has to happen to somebody, unless they're having, because this would actually be, I think, a meaningful operational change of camp. If they're having a coach do the handoff so that all 4 guys can throw, that's just not how I remember practice being organized.
No,
but maybe they rotate that stuff too. Maybe it is Rippon.
No, it's his stuff is going to come in 7-on-7 and stuff. It's not really indie drills. Of course, indie, you only got 3 guys, and so one guy has to do the handoffs. It's probably him right now. But then as actual training camp goes, it's going to be Max's, and he might only get 10 throws.
Yeah, but you got to make the most of them. Yeah,
correct. Make the most of those 10. And I told Max that off air. We didn't record this part, but in Sam, I don't know if Sam was listening or not, but that was the advice I gave him. I said, hey, look, here's your opportunity. You might get 10 throws. Make sure you throw to the receiver that can catch, and make sure you throw to the receiver that knows the damn routes. You don't throw to the guy just because he's out there and that's the read. Can this guy catch? No, I'm going to just throw the dig route to this guy, even though he's covered. I think he can make this catch, because now it makes you look better. Because when the coaches go back and watch the film, if the receiver runs the wrong route, and this is what I think I might have put this on camera, I don't know, but the receiver runs the wrong route, quarterback throws the right ball. So cover 2, he should stick it in the zone hole. Receiver still runs a damn hitch into a cover 2 corner. A lot of times the coaches don't really see that as a win. They look at both damn. And then they're like, well, okay, that was a good throw, but why did the receiver not know what he's supposed to do? Did Max talk? There's a lot to that. So I even told him that. I'm like, man, talk to your receivers. Let them know, hey, we got 2, man. I'm coming to you in the hole. So that way that reminds him, shoot, you're right. If it's not just hitch and go, it's seam. And then if he's not playing cover 4, I actually got the go route now. So that's the little stuff that Max has to learn. And I don't know if he will, but I am going to get out there, and I told him I'll see him at training camp. So I'm going to definitely talk to him on day one.
Besides, that Luke Braun has you ranked 87th going.
I'm definitely
bulletin board material.
I'm sending him this clip. Like, man,
There you
people
go.
don't have you. People think you're going to be handing the ball off all camp, man. His name is Luke. You know, he lives in California.
Don't get it switched up.
Not enough Vikings hate me anymore. All right, the Vikings that didn't like me are all gone now. We need to replenish.
Hey, Tom Brady used to talk about, hey, I used to get 2 reps at Michigan. I just tried to make the most of those 2. Two throws.
That's where Max is going to be. Like, but again,
it's a tough hole.
How can, and so like to be even more intricate, how can he get it? You find your receiver now. So when he because he's going up there early. He told me he'll be there, I think, on the 20th. And they don't have to
look
report.
for Thayer Thomas and you just drill it every
you
time.
You figure it out. You figure out who's your guy, who is my guy. Because I told him, I said, you're gonna be going with the 3s, 3s and 4s. Figure out your guy in that group. Like, figure out who is a guy you can get the ball to, and you two can become a little duo where you're killing, the 3 DBs and all that stuff. Like, you got to know, because they're every once in a while they're gonna put the 1 defense out there against like the 4 offensive skelly just to like get a look and say like, look, here you go out there and like Dante Culpepper talked about it to us, like when he talked about he was the look guy for John Randall and them, and he said he made the best out of those days knowing I'm not playing, but I'm going to go out here and try to kill it. So that's what Max has to do.
So by that theory, would you say go target maybe who you think is kind of the weaker guy in the secondary?
Hell yeah.
Like,
hell yeah.
Go pick on that dude.
Yeah. Oh, why not? I mean, this is a job. Like, there's no more being friends. Like, we can be friends at lunch. We can be friends in the locker room. On that field, man, no. So I just told somebody texted me this about Deion Sanders, because Deion Sanders came to Minnesota. And, I know him just because, we were only teammates like 3 months, 4 months, something like that. But I still send a message every once in a while. So the barber he went to, like, said, hey, man, Deion mentioned you, blah, blah. Like, he said, thanks for shooting, because I sent his guy my contact for a barber. And he asked me a question about Deion Sanders. Like, man, like, did you ever go against him one-on-ones? I was like, no, for what? Why would I go against Deion Sanders? Like, because I remember guys coming to practice, seeing Deion's locker, because when we finally signed him, his locker, his socks showed up, his actual primetime Nike shoe. Like, he had his own purple Deion's ready to go. Like, he was ready. Like outfit laid. Just all the stuff he says he did it. Socks laid out, pants laid out. I'm like, this is really prime.
Layer socks that are
right. Then he walks into the locker room and it's like a purple aura. You know what I mean? It's like Prince. You just see him come through and it's Deion with the purple like Ravens hoodie on. You're like, damn, this is Deion Sanders. We get out there for OTAs, and the first thing some of the receivers my age say is, oh man, I got to go against Prime, man. I got to go against Prime. And I'm like, good. Okay, if you beat Prime, he's 37. So you should. You're 23. But if you get locked up by a 37-year-old, they're gonna cut
lose.
Right. There's no winning in this. Like,
Ron's motioning out of the boundary when the
I'm like, unless he gets in front of me in 7-on-7, I'm not doing this in 1-on-1s. I just want to shake his hand, have a couple conversations with him. Like, I don't need to say I went against Prime. For what? I mean, he did. I think he covered me like once or twice, maybe in 7-on-7. But that, I was not trying to
make it was cover 2. I just wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. I won the dig, but he was covering the zone. Like, saying you beat 37-year-old Deion Sanders is not anything to hang on your wall. Like, and again, he was locking dudes up because he still ran. Like, I forgot what he told us. He still ran at 37. I think he said he still ran like 4.37. It was like a joke. He's like, I can still run 4.37 at 37.
Yeah.
And so because guys were trying to go deep on him, and he's like, man, come on, this is what I do best. And I'm like, why? And so, like, if I'm Max, I'm not going at Byron Murphy. I'm not going at Theo Jackson. Why? Like, I'm not going to say names. I'm going to find the guy. I'm going to, like in Waterboy.
Refusing to name Caleb Hilasi. I got it. Don't worry about it.
Remember the Waterboy when the kicker did that? He was like, where's my exactly. Yeah. I can't say the word. It's a family show. But where is he at? He found him. Boom, kicked it to him. He was scared. But that's you got to do that. If I'm Max and I'm that receiver and I'm that tight, who is a guy I can go against and put a ton of great film out there so that when the coaches go back and watch film at night, a lot of times Keenan McCardle is not going to watch the DB. They're just going to be like, damn, that was a good ass route. Oh, that's a good catch. Okay, boom. You make a little note in his notebook. Next day that receiver might be in with the 3s now instead of the 4s. Like, it's you got to work your way up. And that's what I see for Max. Like yes, Luke, you attack the guy you know you can beat. I hate to say it. It is what it is. It's a job.
Sure.
You got to make the roster.
Competition.
Yeah, well, you got to make the other guy earn it too.
You got to make the other guy earn it.
Ron, so one thing as we're going through the ranking process, we're learning a little bit about all these guys. One thing that kind of stands out to me, Leroy Watson only played tight end in college. Now, we have a Hall of Fame tackle in Jason Peters, who only played tight end in college, converted to tackle in the NFL. It's possible, but it seems pretty tough. You converted positions from wide receiver to tight end. This guy's converting from tight end to tackle. What are the challenges involved with this kind of change?
So, my glasses at. I'm trying to look at this. Oh, I'm getting old. You get old.
Oh, like prime time, 37 out on that field. Still runs that 437 though.
I was trying to see his size. So where is he at? Where's the tight end?
Well, he's like 311 now.
Do they have him at tackle or tight end on the roster?
Tackle. And he's been a tackle for other NFL teams too.
Got it.
So like Cleveland and San Francisco, I think he was a tackle for them. So he was a tight end in college. I think he was like 250. Immediately he signed to the team, and they're telling him, you got to be a tackle. And every team that has picked him up since then has been like, yeah, this guy's a tackle.
Why am I not seeing him on here? I see Leroy Watson.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, Leroy Watson. That's what you said.
Leroy Watson.
I keep hearing I heard you say Khaleesi. You're talking about the corner. Okay, so you were making jokes about names. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so you know what's funny? So here's a funny story about Leroy Watson. I sent him, like, I tried to connect with him already because somebody from the Vikings told me he has a great personality. And so I've already reached out to him actually to get him. So I'm glad you guys talked. I didn't know that story. I did not know that. I did not realize he was a converted tight end. I had not done my homework yet. I reached out to him because I saw him and Christian Darrisaw we were in the radio room at the Vikings facility, and he was like joking around and he seemed like a real bubbly, fun guy. So he has a chance to make this roster, right?
Maybe.
I mean, that's our next topic. Christian Darrisaw, maybe not active for week one. You might have carry an extra tackle, so he'd be in the mix for that extra spot. I think he's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, so he has the weight.
Ahead of like Logan.
So he's
Brown
already he's 311. He probably gained a ton of weight. But the biggest thing, the conversion from tackle to tight end for him is always going to be strength, because tackles aren't built to just take on 278-pound DNs or 290-pound tackles that do the tackle in twist. So that's the biggest difference. Tight ends aren't built to do that. So that's the toughest thing I would say. Like it's actually harder to learn how to run routes than it is to just get strong. Like getting strong, you just weight room, lifting, eating, weight room, and then learning that. But tackle and tight end have similar like edge blocking assignments. Like it's a lot of similar like footwork. It's a lot of similar like drop depth. The biggest thing for him probably was learning how to help the guard, because tackle, tight end, they kind of know how to handle the edge. Helping the guards, I've heard, is not. And then we had who was it? John or Randall McDaniel was on our show, Sam, and he talked about that. The guard has some of the toughest assignments because you get linebackers, you get all kinds of walks of life in your gap. And so I think that's the hardest, is as a tackle learning most dangerous man. So meaning who is most likely to get to the quarterback first and not making that mistake. I think that's the key, because tight ends kind of know I'm helping the tackle and then I'm gone. Tackles have to learn, okay, I got my guy, but then do I have to help the guard a little bit too and still hold my guard with my other arm? I'd say that the just flat out, I got to go one-on-one with Danielle Hunter. How do I do that and still keep my eye on a potential blitzing linebacker that could be most dangerous? Like that's tough. Like that, because you got to have your head on the swivel and also keep, a 270-pound Greek god from killing my quarterback. So I'd say that's the toughest switch. But other than that, they have similar edge, like from the footwork when I learned, because I learned to play tight end with the tackle group. Like I had to go with the tackles for like a week with the Bears to watch and learn their footwork on how to like drop. And so it's similar.
Breaking news for Ron to end things here. Reynolds reports Red Panda has been from a Minneapolis hospital with a fractured left wrist. She'll be out for a few weeks.
Fractured wrist, yeah.
Ready. The NBA.
Get better, Red Panda. Get better.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounded like
fractured wrist. I still haven't seen the video. Did she just fall from and then like land on her arms, or what happened?
Well, she actually landed on her. Yeah. I was there courtside, which is just
Courtside.
yeah.
Whoa.
On the wood.
One of
look
the
at
one of
you.
the
Prime time.
Humble
one of the
brag.
kids that I coached in a high school debate grew up and got loaded, so he got me courtside seats to the commission game. And yeah, and so I was like 20 feet from Red Panda when it happened. I do have a little video on my phone, but it felt weird, so I didn't keep it. But yeah, so apparently there was like an issue with the left pedal of the unicycle, and she fell. And I thought originally that she had injured her tailbone, but I guess she had
Yeah, I
cushioned
heard
the
she
fall.
fell
Put
right on
hand
her.
down.
Right on
Yeah,
her
just
bum.
right on her seat.
Yeah.
And but I guess she had cushioned the fall with her hand, and that's what took the brunt of the force, and so that's why she has a fractured wrist. But it was pretty sad because it was like 10-15 seconds into the performance, like right away they were still pulling
Wait, so your
away.
phone was out during her performance?
Yeah,
You might have messed her up. I bet it was your phone.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's never had a camera.
Butterfly
on her
effect,
before.
dude.
That's a good
Your
point.
flat,
It's on you.
you didn't know your flash was on and your
My
light was on.
Like, who's this
Fan-
guy?
The amount of effort
I've
it
never
takes.
seen this guy sit courtside before.
Who's this guy courtside with his flash on right now? Like,
The
what
amount
are
of
you
effort
doing?
it takes to turn the flash on my phone. There's no chance.
Max Brosmer on the Ron Johnson show on Tuesday. That's called a tease in the business. We were excited for that. Good debate, fellas. Ron, we appreciate the time as always, and we'll talk to you super soon. Have a safe trip to Nashville.
Appreciate it. I'm glad you guys told me about Leroy Watson now. Now I really got to follow up with this message to him because it started with Theo Jackson. Sam remembers that. We started early in the summer with Theo Jackson. It took like 2 weeks. We finally got Theo Jackson on. So now I got to, because Leroy Watson's not not to say he's not a big deal. Like, not yet. I mean, he could be a Minnesota big deal if if he starts for Christian Darrisaw week 1. So yeah, let me reach out to him and see what he's thinking about that. That's good intel. I did not realize he was a tight end. Man.
Hey, we seek to inform and educate.
What? So what college was he like? Did he do it in college? He was a tight end in college.
Yeah, whole time in college, UTSA.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then went to the NFL. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
what
he
I've
did
heard
get,
is he
like,
has a
the
big personality.
great.
So that's what
Nice.
the the media people within the Vikings, the VEN people,
Right.
So because there's a show I kind of tease. We don't have the official amount, the dollar amount, what it's going to be, but they have a name for it, and so his name was one of the names that came out to be a great guy for like as a guest on it because
Oh,
you know,
cool. That'd be a good
because
story.
he's a yeah. And so again, I would hope, and I've always asked this question because every time we interview people for the Vikings directly, I'm like, there's no way they're cutting this guy. Like guys that get mic'd up, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you can't mic a guy up and then cut him. Like that seems mean as hell. Like we're gonna cut you, but we're gonna keep this footage and air it on Vikings.com.
Ron, do I
later
have
next
some
week.
news for you about the NFL?
So they are not that mean, Arif. They can't be that mean. They
Good night.
wouldn't do that.
Everybody's
I would
nice.
They
hope
would
not.
never.
So I'm hoping Max Brosmer gets mic'd up for like week 3. I'm hoping that. Mic him up. Or for the Texans, because he's got Daniel Jackson and his other Gopher guy back in town, the tackle, Ursery. So yeah, mic him up for the first game. Show Luke Braun something. He's making this right.
Yeah.
Own that fraud.
It'd be so cool if he made the team and showed me up. I'd love that.
But how many? Because what is it? 60 is 50 is 69, right? Is what they keep, or is it?
Nice.
Is it changed?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds about right.
practice
16
squad plus
yeah.
roster.
Hey, the NFL, they know what they're doing with that. They can make it 70. They could have made it 70
You
easily.
could have, they didn't. There's a reason. We know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say he's number 68. He's not 60.
Perfect. You can have 2 practice squad.
Maybe the
quarterbacks.
practice squad. Okay.
Not
Yeah.
illegal.
Wait, can Brett Rippon actually make the practice squad though? Because that rule's changed now, right? Anybody can be on practice squad.
Yeah, veteran.
Yeah, anybody can be on the practice squad, but because of the way they changed like active inactive, because your third emergency QB doesn't count toward your 48, basically everybody's keeping 3 on the active roster now.
Yeah, because you have to be on the active to be the third emergency, and it can't be a game day activity.
Got it.
Yeah.
Right, so Brett could be the third. Max could be the practice squad guy. Got it. But if you're third emergency, no reason to have a practice squad quarterback if you don't need one. So yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
and I think not all teams are keeping 4 in the building.
Correct.
You got 3 on your roster, and then maybe you got one on the practice squad.
it doesn't make sense when you look at what practice looks like now in the NFL compared to 20 years ago. You don't really need that. Just sucks. Praying for you, Max. Let's go. All right, you guys have a good one.
Oh,
See you, Ron. Appreciate it
All right.
as always. You're the best. Quick Christian Darrisaw segment when we return. Minnesota Football Party. All right, that was a good time management lesson about how this top 91 is going to go.
Yep.
Hey, dude, you guys come on, more substance about player 88. Come on, man, give me some more fun facts.
Hey, we learned some cool things today.
No, we did.
We got through half of what we wanted to get through. We'll have to adjust.
I'm glad this happened to you, Sam.
Because you know how much it bothers me, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
you
the
can
worst
see
thing
the
about-
pain. You can see the pain that I'm in. And I had a bad feeling when segment 1 went 35 minutes. That seemed like a bad sign.
Yeah, Mad World playing in the background, the camera zooming in, we're just masquerading. Sam's in hell.
Let's end on a 4-minute drill.
Start the clock. It's time to execute the 4-minute drill.
We have 4 players on that video intro. Kirk, Daniil, Dalvin, JJ.
Well, like the song says, all around me are familiar faces.
We also have our show intro also alludes to Superior Sports Talk with Luke Inman. Rip.
Yeah, what is that?
Well,
It had the Emmy in the bag.
No, that's
Oh man.
well, the intro clearly cuts off where I work. Well, that's great. I think
Because it was 2 jobs ago.
it was 2 jobs ago.
Let's do jobs.
let it go, man.
We didn't edit Inman, so we edited Arif's. Also, yeah. Anyway, 4-minute drill. Christian Darrisaw. Status for week 1. Alec Lewis alluded to it being like a rosy or optimistic expectation to expect him to play week 1. That feels like pup. We've kind of forecast this, maybe a 4-week absence for Darrisaw. 1 through 10, what's your concern level if you don't have Darrisaw for the first month? Minute each. Inman. Oh, he's gone.
Oh,
Oh, my
We reached
God.
his time limit.
yeah. He was trying to figure out who was backing up Darrisaw, and he went to Arlen's again.
No. We just talked about Leroy Watson. All right. You guys get an extra 30 seconds each. You get Inman's time. Arif, go.
My concern level with 10 being the highest is probably 5. I don't know. Like, not having those games is pretty significant. I think the drop off from starter as like a Pro Bowl, All Pro kind of guy to a reasonably confident backup that you have, like Justin Schooler or whatever. That's not great. I don't love how those games are going to turn out at the very beginning of JJ McCarthy's career, but at the same time, I think like the thing that matters is the long term, and I'm not concerned about his long term prognosis. I don't think there's any reason for us to think that he's behind schedule. In fact, it seems like he's ahead of schedule. It's just being ahead of schedule doesn't necessarily mean you'll start week 1. It just means you're ahead of where people thought. So my concern level isn't high. I just don't love the idea that there might be 4 or 5 games where McCarthy is going to have, a minimum salary guy protecting him. That's not wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Ron.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I was going to say 6. It's, that's going to harm you for however many games it is. Just kind of doing the math of the timeline. He suffers this around Halloween, if I remember. It was about a 10-month journey for TJ Hawkinson, who got the same injury. Christian Darrisaw as a lineman, bigger guy. That's going to be slightly different rehab. So I would say if he was, there were rumors that he was going to be ready for the start of camp and that they were excited about.
Yeah.
That would have been insane. That felt insane. And seeing him out there in OTAs was like, whoa, that's possible. That's crazy. But then Alec Lewis, unfortunately, we don't get any other detail in that article. It just says, oh yeah, that's a rosy expectation to start week 1. So I don't know if that means he's going to play week 2.
To the
I
summer.
don't know if that means pup. I don't know what that means. But yeah, Justin School will not be as good as Christian Darrisaw. It's worth noting that Justin School is the guy that they've been giving this job. I know we spent a lot of time talking about Leroy Watson and Logan Brown. It's been Justin School
And Walter Rouse. Hey, whoa.
and Walter Rouse, who has played some guard, I think. It's been Justin School in OTAs doing the job. He's the one that has the job. Anything can happen in camp, but currently he's the one that they expect to be doing that.
If you're comparing School to Quessenberry, kind of like Quessenberry a little more. Like if you had the choice.
Oh, I don't think I do.
Really?
Yeah, School is like specifically done this and like held his own. He was a little bit like the way we used to view Rashad Hill before he had to like start.
Yeah.
Before he got the job. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
I don't
limited.
know. Questenberry has like a decent amount of experience. I understand like why.
Yeah. And Questenberry did all right.
Yeah.
I think with School, like I wouldn't want 5 games of Questenberry. I feel a little bit better about that with School, but like, yeah, I don't.
School had a decent amount of right tackle last year, had 2 starts at left. And those are the only like starts at left tackle in the last 5 years. I mean, he hasn't started at left tackle since 2020, except for the 2 last years. So I think he's very much an unknown. And I would put Walter Rouse not that far behind him. I think it is School, leader in the clubhouse. But I don't know. I wouldn't hand it to him on a silver platter. I would make him earn it.
Will Rouse be going for that job?
I don't know.
If he's moving to guard, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it might be ship passing in the night. But yeah, no, that'll be a battle. And then you got these undrafted cats. But I think the real intrigue is if Darrisaw is not on the opening 53-man roster because of PUP or whatever, who makes the team now? Is it now? Because School, Rouse, Darrisaw, O'Neal, that's your four tackles. That felt really easy chalk. But now you open another spot, and now you get Logan Brown or who is the other undrafted tackle? There's Leroy Watson, and there was another undrafted rookie tackle. Like now you get all these interesting names.
And I would still say Brandel. Why not try Brandel there? He's done it before, and I think he can play 4 positions. Intrigue coming up for the Vikings. We'll do ranked players 80 through 61 next time. We'll try. We'll move faster.
Sam. Whatever you say, Sam.
I can only
we're
much.
getting to the practice squad and almost roster bubbles. So that'll be controversial.
Yeah, so we'll have actually stuff to talk about. This is actually getting worse for you.
I'm nervous. We'll see if Luke Inman ever gets out of our lad's purgatory, and we will return on Monday. Happy 4th of July. Happy holiday weekend to everybody out there. Thanks for watching, listening, commenting, subscribing. Talk to you next time.